Alright, so this is for Integrated Math 1 lesson, or for day 53 we're doing a lesson on slope-intercept form. And particularly we have this objective. Let's read this out loud together as a class. Ready and begin.
I will be able to
Okay, cool. So we're not graphing, but we're going to do our first type of graph, which is the slope-intercept form of a line. And so we're going to just learn how to write it today. That's all we're doing, okay? All right, so the slope-intercept form of a line. Oh, this looks a little messy down here. I don't know what might happen to my computer. Raise your hand if you've heard of slope-intercept form of a line. Okay, some of you have, right? So y equals mx plus b is the form that we want to get to. Raise your hand if you've seen that before. Most of you have, or some of you haven't, so I'm not sure, but this is something we all need to know as of now. Okay, so the y-intercept is b. A y-intercept is like where it crosses the y-axis. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. And then the slope is how slanted or the steepness of a line, and that's represented by m here. Okay, so you don't have to write this down, but that's the big idea. Does that make sense, everyone? So you need these three things today. All right. The steps are here in the middle, so what we're going to do is let's have you pause the video here and write these steps down before we start. Okay, ready and pause. Okay, cool. So the steps are not 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Of course, they are in order. I don't know why the computer does that sometimes. Anyways, number 1. The big idea, look at the very top. There are directions up here. It says write the equation of each line in slope-intercept form. Y'all see that at the very top? Yes? Okay. So that's the goal, is we're writing the equation in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So how do we do that? Well, in this first problem, they give us some information. They said the slope is 3, and then they also tell us that there's 2, 5 is on the line. So that's nice because this is all the information we really need to get going. So eyes up on the screen. So our slope is 3, so then we would identify m is equal to 3, and then we would say we could bring down our point that we identified, 2, 5, and 2 and 5 are x sub 1 and y sub 1. Okay? So what we're going to do is start with the point slope form. So we got y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, this is the equation with the start to create the slope-intercept form. Okay, and then we just input the numbers as we go. So we got y, we're going to leave alone. y1 I realize is 5, so I'm going to put y minus 5 is equal to our slope of m, which is 3, times x minus x sub 1, which is 2. Okay? And then I'm going to distribute. So we have 3 times x is 3x. Then we have 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Bring down the rest of the problem. Y minus 5. Okay? How do I get y by itself? I want my answer. Look at this step here. It's actually step 4. If you look here, I want my final answer to look like this: y equals mx plus b, which means y has to be isolated. You all see that? So how do I isolate y here? I still need to add 5. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. This is a constant term. And when I do that, I get y equals 3x, and then negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. And there we go. We have a equation in slope-intercept form. Okay? The next thing I want you to do when you have the equation is I want you to identify the slope, which again is 3, so we'd write m is equal to 3. And then our y-intercept is negative 1, so we'd say b is equal to negative 1. Okay? Does that make sense, everyone? That's all you got to do for number 1. Okay? So again, what did I do? I read the directions. It says write an equation. So in slope-intercept form, identified the slope and the point. Then I used point-slope form, plugged in my values into the appropriate place, and solved for y. I got my equation right here. I identified my slope and y-intercept. Isn't this the same slope I started with? Y'all see that? Okay, cool. Watch me do number 2 now. Number 2 is a little bit different, so and it's a slightly more difficult. Look at number 2. Does it give me a slope on number 2? No, that's right. It does not. So, what do we need to do to find the slope? Well, we have to do this first step here, which is this. I calculate the slope with m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Y'all see that? So now we're going to input these numbers. We have to identify what they are first. This is my first point. So this is my x1, y1, x2, y2. And we're just going to rewrite this formula down. We got y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, I just copied this over here. You see that? All right. I'm going to input my numbers. Y2, I noticed, was negative 10. Minus our y1 is 6 over x2, which is 7. Minus our x1, which is negative 1. Okay, negative 10 minus 6 is negative 16. 7 minus a negative 1 is 8. And then negative 16 divided by 8. What's negative 16 divided by 8, everyone? Negative 2. That's our slope now, right? So if m is equal to negative 2, I already know what my x1 and y1 are. It's going to be negative 1 and 6. So this is going to be my x1 and my y1. Okay? I could plug these in. Here we go. So I'm going to do the same thing as what I did on number 1 now. I got y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So we got y minus, our y1 here is 6, is equal to our slope, which we said is negative 2, times x minus our x1 is negative 1. Okay? When I subtract a negative, what am I really doing, everyone? When I subtract a negative, what do I really do? It's like I'm adding one, right? Do y'all see that? So now we're going to distribute, just like in the last problem. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times positive 1 is negative 2. Bring down the rest of the problem. We're going to add 6 to both sides to isolate the y variable. And we get y is equal to negative 2x plus 4. And that's your answer, right? What's our slope of this one, everyone? What is it? Negative 2, good, just by looking here. And then what's our y-intercept here, everyone?
4.
Good, b is equal to positive 4. Okay, so you need these 3 pieces of information to do this problem. Okay, hard? Is this too hard? Questions on numbers 1 or 2? Can I get a thumbs up if it made sense? Thumbs down if it didn't make any sense at all, like you're totally lost. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Let's have you talk about it. I haven't heard people talk, so I'm going to pause the video here, have people talk about it. Let's have... Okay, you should be writing down numbers 1 and 2 in your notes. So let's pause here. Do that. Okay, and we're going to be doing number 3 in our notebook, not on Doceri. You're going to keep Doceri handy. And on number 3, let's switch this up just a little bit. We're not going to put a slope of negative 3 4, so let's put a slope of negative 4. Can we do that, please? Negative 4. Okay? So let's write this down, the original problem in your notebooks. We're working this out in your notebooks. Okay? We're doing this in our notebooks, not on our iPads. Okay, to your neighbors, identify what's the slope, or m, and what is x1 and y1 for them, please. Okay, what's our slope, everyone? What's our m?
Negative 4.
Negative 4, good. What is x1 and y1? What's x1, everyone?
8.
Good. And what's y1?
2.
Good. Turn to your neighbors, tell them what the formula or the equation we would write next. Y. It starts with y minus y1 equals what? Okay, so we should write y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, and we're putting these in together. Here we go. Okay, what's y1 again? Let's focus up here. What's y1, everyone? 2. Okay, make sure you're focusing. What's our slope, everyone? -4. Good. X minus, what's our x1?
8.
Good. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's distribute this -4. What's -4 times x, everyone? -4x. Excellent. Okay. What's -4 times -8? Plus 32. All right. And then we got y minus 2 right here. Turn your neighbors, tell them, how would you solve for y here or get y by itself? Okay, so I'm hearing a couple answers. I heard subtract 2 from both sides or add 2 to both sides. Which one do you think?
I mean, add, my bad.
Okay, I just want to make sure. It's alright, we don't want to make mistakes. So what's our final answer going to be? Y equals?
-4x plus
Good, okay. Turn to your neighbors, tell them, what is the slope of this problem? Or m is equal to? What's m equal to, everyone? Good. What is what's our slope, everyone? I'm sorry, that's our slope. What's our y-intercept, everyone? 34. Great. Sorry about that. And that's it. Was that hard? No, it wasn't too bad, okay? I'm going to go to the next slide because I want you to just do this one now. Right up here on the top left, I'll underline it for you. Slope is 1/2 and 2 is on the line. Can you kids work this one out and show me your answers on your whiteboards when you're done? I'll give you 2 minutes. Ready, set, go. Our slope here, m is equal to, what's our slope, everyone? 1/2. Okay, good. So, and then we have 2. 2 is the point they give us. So this is our, one of these is our x1, the other one is our y1. And they're both the same, so it makes it nice. So we go y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x of 1. Okay, so y minus 2 is equal to our slope of 1/2 times x minus 2. And then let's distribute here. What's 1/2 times x, everyone? 1/2 x, good. And then what's 1/2 times -2? -1, good. Okay, bring down the rest of the problem. Y minus 2. We're going to add 2 to both sides. When we do that, we get y equals 1/2 x all plus 1. Do you all see that? What's our slope again, everyone? M is equal to, if you're looking at the equation, what would the slope be if you were to look at this equation? What's m equal to? 1/2. Thank you. What is our y-intercept? +1. Good. That's it. Make sense? Pretty easy, right? It gets easier as we go, okay? This is the most basic equation you're going to do in math, so, and you only have like 3 to learn this year. We're going to learn exponential and quadratic also. So, let's keep going here. Actually, let's move back to a different problem. Let's go to number, it says number 4 up here, but let's make this our number 5, okay? So, here we go. So this one on the top right here, I'm circling it, and it's flashing up here. Turn to your neighbors, tell them what's a piece of information you're missing that you need to figure out before you start. And tell them how you're going to figure it out. Okay, what's the piece of information we're missing, everyone? The slope. How do you figure this out, everyone? Good. So we're going to figure out our slope here. We have to do our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then we're going to identify these so we know this is x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so we're going to do y2 -2 minus y1 is going to be 4. Right? And then we got x2 is -7 minus our x1, which is -1. When I subtract a negative, what am I really doing, everyone? Adding, right? So what's -2 minus 4? Good. What's negative 7 plus 1? What's negative 6 divided by negative 6, everyone? 1. Good. So that's our slope. I want you to finish the problem. Give me the equation, slope, and y-intercept. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. Go. Good. Okay, here we go. So you should have had y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay? Everything okay? You made a mistake? Okay, we already know what all these are, so we got y minus, our y1 here is 4. Is equal to our slope of 1. Oh, that's real nice. That's a great slope. X minus, and then we got negative 1. Right? And when I subtract a negative, what am I really doing, everyone? Adding, right? So it's not like we're subtracting a negative, we're adding 1, right? And then we're going to continue here. We got y minus 4. And let's distribute. What's 1 times x, everyone? 1x. And then 1 times positive 1 is positive 1. Add 4 to both sides. And then we got y is equal to 1x plus 5. And there's your answer, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Now, let's just say that this was your answer. What would be your slope you could identify? What's the slope here?
1.
M equals to 1. Good. What is our b or our y-intercept? 5. Good. B is equal to positive 5. Good. Now, I got one more question. Let's pretend that I took this 1 away. Will this change my answer if I erase the 1 here?
No.
Why not?
Because x represents 1.
No, there's a coefficient in the front that is, we assume there's a 1 here. So this 1 does not need to be here, okay? Does that make sense? So what, if I erase the 1, is my slope still 1? Yes, absolutely, okay? I'm going to put it back just because I don't want to confuse anyone, but you could take out the 1. It's the same thing, or you could keep the 1 in there. Same thing. We assume it's the same, so it's 1x, okay? Awesome, okay. And I think we're good, so I'm going to conclude the lesson there.